Hi everybody, welcome back. Another short video today. I just want to do a quick comparison between a private caregiver and an agency. Why would I consider a private caregiver? Why would I consider an agency? So let's talk about the agencies first. A lot of the things have changed in the market. Over the last couple of years, the cost using an agency has increased by anywhere from 35 to 50%. I know that because I was involved up until last October. And those costs are varied and very complex, and we can go through them, but it doesn't have a lot of value here. Just trust me that the costs have increased at least that much. I've experienced it. One of the reasons why I'm not involved with an agency anymore is because the cost goes so out of line. Now, with that, a family, what we saw as the cost went up is, of course, more and more families just stopped using home care or reduce their hours, and yet their loved ones' needs did not change. But the cost prohibited them from being able to meet all the needs. And so now, if we look at just the cost issue, there is no comparison between what I would use today. I can have a private duty agency come in, a private duty caregiver come in versus an agency, and my cost would be tremendously less, almost 35 to 50% less because of the requirements. Now, a lot of people will say, well, you hire a caregiver in your home that isn't through an agency and you become an employer. Well, there are some issues where that may be the case. And what we have is that the IRS has put together a household employers guide, and there's a lot of benefits to looking at this and reading it and knowing that it's there. And if you're going to hire a caregiver and they're only working in your place, then you're exactly right, you might be an employer. However, there's a lot of different regulations as being a household employee versus through an agency. So, however, if a caregiver is working for multiple families, they're an independent contractor as far as I'm concerned. And certainly what we would encourage is that anytime you're dealing with either an agency or an independent caregiver, you do consult your attorney and talk to them about any type of employment regulations that you may need to be involved with or know about. But the difference just here on this point is, do I pay a caregiver a rate that is substantially less than an agency in order to be able to keep my loved one at home? Today, I believe that a lot of people are turning to hiring independent caregiver just because of that. Now, what about some of the services that a agency provides where a independent contractor caregiver would not do? Well, there are a number of companies out there that provide assistance. There's a lot of companies that will come in and do an assessment. Some of them charge you for the assessment. Some of them do it at no cost. Some people come back and actually monitor what's happening in the home. Some agencies do not. However, my experience is, and I've seen it over the last 30 years that I've been involved with home care, generally a family is involved. Whether they're using an agency or they're using an independent caregiver, a family's involved. If you have all the tools that you need and you have done your research and have your knowledge base set so that you can manage and handle having a private caregiver, then there is no advantage of having the costs associated with an agency doing the same thing, in my opinion. So as I look at both of these alternatives today, cost, there's no question. I would look at an independent caregiver. As far as services go, it's going to depend on the family's desire to be involved and at what level they want to be involved. Because of the cost, for me it's a no-brainer. I want to get involved. And even if I'm using an agency that comes in and does an assessment and it doesn't cost me anything, and they do come in and they're going to do a quote-unquote home visit, that's great. I'm still going to be involved because it's my loved one or it's my responsibility. So I'm not going to just pass that off to an agency and think that they're going to take care of my loved one as well as I would take care of my loved one. That's just not going to happen, even on the best ones. I had a great agency. We did a lot of great things for families, but it was never as much as a family would do for their loved one. And that's just the way things are. So as I start to compare and look at all the dynamics today on cost alone, it's all that scale is always going to tilt towards an independent today. If I look at the services, they're going to kind of weigh out a little bit depending on what the family's capable and willing to handle in being able to manage the care in their home. It's a lot of work. I'm not going to be shy about telling anybody that. However, it's your loved one and it's your money. So to me, it's worth the time and effort to make sure you do. That's my opinion today. We're going to talk a little bit more about facilities down the road, and we'll get into more detail about the differences between caregiving, between a private duty caregiver and an agency down the road. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Bye.